One.
And sup to the up, Trash Fam. It is I, Praxis Descends, the coolest kid you know. Which is probably true and probably says some very sad things about the cool level of the people you know. The coolest person I happen to know is Sable Whisper, which says a lot about the coolness of the people I know, because he's a dork. Who's watching Spring the Teenage Witch at the moment? That's on Netflix, and it's great. And in it, there is a character called Dorcas, and I cannot get over that. I just found that out tonight. Her name is Dorcas, and I don't care if it's a real historical name. That's a terrible name for a teenage girl. Who would do that? So you have come here to see us stream in an original Dragon Age game called Under the Sapphire Sun. If this is your first episode, then boy, do we have a lot in store for you, because this is in fact episode 10, the beginning of a 3-part finale, in which much drama and intrigue and probably a good deal of crying is going to happen on this stream. So if you're not engaged and ready for that, actually we're on session 11. I've been talking for a full fortnight and I didn't realize. Clearly my thing hadn't cached through properly. If you are new to watching our streams, then you may not know how we do things around here. This is a stream in which we encourage a particular sort of comment from the audience. Yes, the chat is open, and yes, we will often watch it. But if you want to in any way influence the comings and goings of the stream, then we have a system of helps and hinders that you can engage with. However, as we are entering into the finale time, our storyteller, Sable Whisper, has made it clear that minor helps and hinders may have slightly less of an impact or may be postponed until a later date, simply because nothing is minor at the moment. Everything is drama. Everything is drama. Do not look at me like that. But if you wish to donate for moderate helps or major helps or hinders, if you're one of the absolutely terrible hinderkinder, then of course you can get involved in that. And to explain more about how you'd go about doing such a wonderful or terrible thing, I'm going to hand you over to Sunny Kitty, who is my smart brain.
I just saw a flying baby.
I'm going to hand you over to Pretty Ideals Baby, who will explain more.
So, there are 2 ways that you can choose to influence the stream. One is just by hanging out, watching. You get trash bags. You can redeem those trash bags by either taking your cursor, if you're on PC, over the screen. You're going to see a little trashy pop up on the video over one of our faces. I don't know which one, but one of them, probably, maybe. Click on that, and you redeem, and you can cash in for a minor help or a minor hinder. But of course, you're going to do help because you're good people, and only good people help. Ooh, I almost fudged that rate up. Ooh, that's fine. You can also, there's a link down below that you can use as well to redeem those points. Or if you don't want to sit around and wait to get points, you have some extra money laying around, or you want to do something bigger, you can use real monies to purchase either minor, moderate, or major helps and hinders. It is 1 cent more for a hinder because we wanted to price you right out of that market, and also so the proper alert triggers.
Like a solid 9 out of 10. I'd rank you high.
Thank you.
I would. Oh, and already Jack has redeemed a minor help.
What?
Yeah.
But we just said.
So we'll store
Jack.
it for next week.
That's a perfect example of people who clearly want to burn through their trash bags offering helps. As I said, minor events might not have as much of an impact as usual because Sable Whisper is running.
Well, that's not how I put it.
No, I'm just trying to be straightforward rather than.
Well, minor helps and hinders have exactly the same impact as usual. They just won't happen yet.
And since part of the impact of a minor help or hinder is that it happens immediately, that is what I was getting at.
My dear doctor, you astound me. Astound me.
Holmes, you're terrible with people and you might be a sociopath.
Yes, Watson, and if that were actually a medical term, I might accept it, but since it hasn't been a medical term since about the 1870s, I shan't.
I prescribe laudanum. Lots of laudanum. Laudanum for everyone. That's the only old-timey medicine I know. So while everyone takes their laudanum,
that's my laudanum noise. Everyone's
delicious. Rev and Praxis clearly don't know what laudanum is or how one would take it or how one would react to it.
Yummy.
But in the meantime, I'm going to hand you over to Saber Whisper, who will set us on the course of Thedas. Thedas course.
Yes. Last session, we caught up with both halves of our split party. Tiernan and Arlen went back to the Templar base at Castel Sagrat, which is just outside of Montsamard, and guards one of the largest mage towers in Thedas. There they learned that the commander, Marius Belfort, was planning something called an annulment, which is where the Templars decide that the mage population is too dangerous, usually because one of the mages has become irreversibly possessed, but not in this case. Tin and Arlen have decided they don't stand for that sort of thing, and have decided to run off to try and warn people about it. Meanwhile, the other half of our party, Ephithora and Iris, joined by Jasbar and Elodie, were delving into the elven ruins not far from Halamshiral. First of all, they discovered that there was evidence that the dwarves and elves had been working together to build this place. And as they delved deeper, they found a chamber that they believe held a number of Eluvians. And it was filled with all sorts of very charming ancient elven propaganda about them definitely being the master race, and not to worry about it because they've got all of creation on lock. They returned to the surface after their explorations to find out that they and all of the Inquisition have been summoned to Montsamard. They don't know why. They're about to find out. Tiernan and Arlen, having passed on your dire warning to the Inquisition, you were given fast horses, and you rid as hard and fast as you could all the way to Valmarcia. It's a 2 or 3 day ride. And you know that the odds of you making it there and back in time to stop Commander Belfort's plan are slim. Inquisitor Charest received the news grimly, and you could see that Adriana was both shocked and furious to hear about it. You left your bureau and the Eluvian in the hands of Sabine, the half-elf who'd been examining it, and the 4 of you rode west. It's hard country, and having made this trip and barely stopped for a couple of hours, Tin and Arlen, you are tired right down to your bones. You can, when you dismount at the end of the day, you can barely walk straight. You're not sleeping properly because, of course, you're sleeping on the hard ground, but there are no comfortable positions for you anymore. The entire lower halves of your bodies are simply wrecked. And you always wake up to these appalling cramps. But you ride on, you have to. When you arrive at Castel Sagrat, its mighty gates are closed to you. Your heart sink as Charest tells you what this means. The annulment is either underway or has already been completed. He presents himself at the gates, and he insists with as much authority as he can that Commander Belfort present himself to answer for this, but he's ignored. Furious and frustrated, he takes you all into Montsamard itself, to the Inquisition chapter that he runs there. Charest issues a warrant of arrest for Belfort and all of the captains, but there's nobody to execute the warrant. Hearing about it, Castel Sagrat has essentially barricaded itself in. It's a more or less a town of its own right, so it's not hard for it to survive for a very long time without contact with the outside world. 2 days have passed since then, and Charest has been out trying to appeal to the Duke of Montsamard to lend men-at-arms to aid in the arrest of Commander Belfort. You can see from the expression on his face as he returns that he has not been successful. Nothing again.
Is there anything we can do, sir?
No, the Duke has worked with the Templar Order for so long, he's not going to take the word of a mere seeker that something needs to be done.
The Seekers should stand for more than that. It's disgraceful.
Seekers are the only ones who can police the Templars.
I know this, Squire, but there are only so many of us. I cannot break down the walls of a fortress as much as my anger makes me feel that I could.
They can't stay holed up in there forever.
No, not forever. But they will have managed to get word to Val Royeaux, and they can stay holed up in there long enough for the Night Vigilant to come and relieve them.
How could this happen?
Can't we do the same then, sir? Surely the Lord Seeker.
You know as well as I do that the Lord Seeker has been messaged, but
if we could ride to Val Royeaux, we could make sure he gets the...
Whatever's needed.
I understand and thoroughly respect the urgency with which you wish to act, but until we hear word from the Lord Seeker, I'm afraid we must endure this humiliation for the time being.
Does the Divine know?
I cannot imagine that Lord Voss has not told her, but I also know that he will want to keep the information secure. There is a chance, a very small one, that the Night Vigilant and the Templar Order have not heard of this, and he won't want them to find out if it gives him any sort of head start, but I want to be candid with you. We do not command an army. The best the Lord Seeker may be able to do is raise a few dozen sellswords. But a show of force on such a minuscule scale is not likely to impress Commander Belfort. That fortress could be held against tens of thousands. Which means that justice for hundreds of dead mages will not come for some time. You know that over the past couple of days, Elodie has been absolutely inconsolable. She was a mage here, and had she not joined the Inquisition, she would be dead now, along with everyone she's known since she was about 7. So she is understandably devastated. Adriana offers to go and appeal to the Duke on the off chance that he's enough of a snob to take her word over Sheree's. Of course, Elodie isn't with you, but she will be devastated when she arrives. And as Adriana leaves, you hear a forlorn knock, and Effie Thora, Iris, Jasper, and Elodie have arrived. You can tell. You don't know who Jasper and Elodie are, but you can tell from the looks on all their faces that they've been through the town. They've obviously heard what's happened. Jasper and Elodie make vague introductions, but they leave. Elodie looks absolutely shaken to her core. But the five of you are reunited after, more than a week apart.
I think I can do Elodie's face. I don't think I can do Tierna's.
I am so sorry.
I think Effie would go up to, in between both of them and just put a hand on each arm. I know that you did absolutely everything you could. This is not your fault. No one could ever blame you for this.
It wasn't enough. We tried our best, but it wasn't enough.
I think that's worse, really.
It just means that we have to make sure it can never happen again.
It's a cold comfort, though.
Also, it's not likely.
Not now the Templars are some sort of army. I mean, they were always an army, but at least they were under control. And to think if we hadn't got out, I don't even know what's going on in there.
If we hadn't got out, at least we'd know.
But how many of them were feeling like us, Tien, and they couldn't get out? How many of them were forced to witness the slaughter, be a part of it?
It doesn't matter. They did.
Yes, I know. I know. If more had stood against it, perhaps this wouldn't have happened. I can't stop thinking about other scenarios, how this could have gone better. It's not helping anyone. I just feel fucking useless. Did you have more luck? The Illuvian. Not that it seems to matter now.
We found some things, but we have no idea what they mean or how they're going to help in any way.
Right.
Well, you should probably go rest. You look like you travelled through the night.
I'm not sure if any of us will rest.
Well, you should while you have the chance. It's not a chance that might come again.
Of course.
If there's anything I can do for any of you, it would be a welcome distraction.
Better go make sure our stuff is secure.
Okay.
Tierna's just going to leave the door open when he goes.
I think in the silence, Iris will probably walk out and go and see Claude. Because she's not going to rest.
Well, I didn't think anyone would. I just think that the last thing Tin says to everyone should be, do the thing I'm not doing.
It's very Tin.
You idiots. Sable, how long do we have just of this?
What do you mean?
Just of being
How long do you have of being? I don't know.
So,
What?
like, it was just a gentle way of saying. So, how long are the six of them just like sadly getting on before more happen?
Wow. Okay.
No, Christ.
Well, I was.
I meant more. Is it like an hour, or do they have like weeks of this? Because that will help me define what I say.
For the Templars, it's been days, right? And for us, we just got there,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, that's right.
So they're a little more on edge than we are, theoretically. Do we still have the papers that we wrote down of everything?
Yes, you did. Yes, you brought everything with you from the Elven Ruins.
I think then Thor is going to start kind of going through it, maybe like laying it out, trying to remember what the, because we traced it, and we'll eventually have like this map of what we found, right? I don't know, maybe poring over it because, well, instead of trying to help some mages, they were drawing pictures, and it feels really bad. So maybe if the pictures are worth something, it will help. Oh. And so if she's crying, she's like not letting anyone see, obviously. But that's probably what she will do.
Okay. How's Effie doing?
I think she's been better. I think it would be, she wouldn't be able to process it. Like, I don't think that any average person can be told that however many people in a circle are suddenly dead with no prior, because it's not like there was any lead up to it. It's not like there was any, like, there were whispers of trouble, or there was nothing to prepare you for that news. So I think that her coping mechanism is to fuss about the others. And so she's 100% like, she's like bringing tea to Arlen and Tiernan, and like snacks to Thora, and like a blanket out to Iris. And she's just moving from person to person, not staying long enough to have any sort of a conversation, because she doesn't want a conversation. She's not able to have a conversation, but she wants to make people better because that's what she's good at, and she can't do it. Oh my God, no.
So I think this is quite interesting. I think it's quite an interesting thing about the Valmarcia Inquisitors, is that how close they are, but how they pull apart when things are like this. It's interesting because they all have their own things to go off and do. And I think it's interesting that it's Effie who's going around, not trying to bring them together, but just bouncing between them as the common thread. I think that's really cool and interesting. Just an observation.
I also made myself cry a little bit, and that's totally fine.
That is fine.
I'm like on the edge of tears this whole time. This is oh boy.
It's really hard because I play Elodie, and Elodie wants to cry a lot, and Tiernan won't cry at all, which means that every time I feel like crying, I have to stop, because that's not what Tiernan will do.
I will cry for both of us.
Are any of these dwarven runes that we wrote down, are any of them vaguely familiar at all? Like, does she just, do they look random?
No, I mean they don't look random. In the same way that, I don't know. They don't look random in the same way that German doesn't look random to me. I can't read it, but it looks like words. I mean, it looks fairly logical to you. You could probably, if you concentrate, you could probably pronounce it, but you realize it's definitely a very old form of Dwarven.
not sure. I think Ireland's probably just, I don't know, training. What is there to do where we are except for wait around? Yeah, so probably just miscellaneously training and not really, because it's the only thing he can focus on.
Problem is, I want to do something, but Tiernan is the worst when things aren't good. Like, Effie brings him tea. He won't drink it. He won't
No.
talk to him.
I don't even think she said it like right beside him because that would be too aggressive. She'd kind of like put it within his peripheral vision.
I think actually probably after a while of her like coming in and trying to look after him, he's probably going to snap at her. Like, which breaks my little heart because I love Effie so much. But she'll put a cup down and he'll just go, "You know I'm not going to drink it. Why do you bother making it? It's just a waste. We can't afford to waste at the moment."
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry, I'll take this out of your way. She'll just very gently pick it up and walk back out of the room with it. And then she'll probably get like around the corner and have a little cry. But like 100% out of earshot because she would never, ever, ever want him to feel guilty for it because she knows.
Oh,
Would
well,
it be-
I'm going to ask for a perception hearing
It's
test.
rude.
then.
I feel like that's unfair.
I don't know, because I was going to say that Jaspar had been looking for a Fleda and might come around the corner at a wrong moment.
Also, it's fine because my hearing's real bad. So
Oh.
Can't hear your dice for once. That's really weird.
that's because I was rattling it very gently.
Yeah.
I can. I just choose not to. Oh, for God's sake.
Interiority. Does charity of my choice include my Mars Bar fund?
I'm a charity. I'm terrible. Well, I got a 14 just on dice.
Oh
so
my god!
and it's a 6 on the
She's-
dragon.
She's
Lord of
sobbing crazy like a mad person.
Yeah, I mean,
Wailing.
I rolled stupid good rolling.
yeah. You hear the sniffles of someone who doesn't want their sniffles to be heard, but knowing that they're Effie's probably shatters pieces from your heart. You made Effie cry. Now,
Tiernan knows all about crying so that people can't hear that you're crying. It's like 60% of his childhood.
sad but true.
Did you say that Jaspar was going to stumble upon her? 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Jaspar to find out, but what does Tiernan do? Does Tiernan go noted and carry on, or
Like this is Tiernan's face in the TV show of this game is just completely like not just neutral, but that kind of neutral that someone does when it's just like, okay, I guess I'll just have no emotions then. That's fine. All other options are terrible. And he'll have been reading, but now he's not reading, he's just kind of staring at his book.
oh, Fleda, I'm so sorry. Do you need space or?
I'm sorry. No, I'm fine, really. I don't like feeling helpless, and I like making people better. It's what I'm good at, and I can't make anyone better.
I know. I have seen it, and I think that perhaps you should take some time to look after yourself. Come with me. We will sit down. And he'll like pick up the tea and like.
Oh, I love him.
It's my tea, you bastard.
You didn't want it.
Yeah, suck it.
You made tea already. Would you like some, or we can
Sure.
share?
Thank you.
He'll like share it out. You must make sure that you are not giving so much of yourself away that you do not have anything left for you.
That's very wise. I think I might not be very good at that.
know. We are all trying to stay distracted.
What about you? Are you okay?
Well, as much as anyone can be okay, I just feel like this is so much worse for my friends, especially Elodie. I don't know what to say to her. I can't make it better.
I think sometimes there isn't anything you can say. But by being there for her, so that she knows that if she needs to talk, you're there. And if she doesn't, you're there is the best thing you can do.
Just how do you comfort someone when they've lost everything they have ever known?
Well, by being there, you're showing her that she hasn't lost everything.
I fear I am a poor consolation prize. But I will try.
She's lucky to have you.
Thank you. And the others are lucky to have you.
Later on, Adriana brings the Valmarcia crew together. I notice you've all been avoiding each other. I'm not going to tell you the right or wrong way to grieve. But we have a long wait ahead of us before anything has happened. And we still don't know what will happen next or what will happen after it. So, as much as it seems almost profane to distract ourselves with our Inquisition duties, what did the three of you find in the Elven ruins?
For one, we found Darkspawn. And you remember. And I don't know what these...
Darkspawn?
Maker's breath.
Wow.
I don't know why they were there or how long they were there for, but there was a part of a tunnel that was caved in that might have been meant to keep them down there. I mean, we have no way of knowing, but...
None of you got hurt, right?
No, just... I mean, terrified, if that counts, but...
What did you learn of the Alluvians, if anything?
Well, Iris recognized that it was part of the elves' way of trying to keep power over everyone, or the power they had, and the dwarves were helping. And I mean, if you look at... So she's like laid out all this stuff. So she'll take them back to whatever room that was, and just like, this is what we mapped out. And I mean, Iris can read the Elvish, even though it sounds insane, and I can't make out any of this. It's too old. But they were working together. The dwarves were they were subordinate to...
Elves and dwarves working together?
That does sound unusual.
But the craftsmanship of the entire ruins was... I mean, I recognized it as just being so much care and skill going into it. It was impressive.
There was sort of directions for maybe a spell or something to do with the Alluvians. The Elvish kept repeating "For ours is the glory" over and over, and it must have something to do with it all. And there was various Alluvians where Alluvians would be. And
are there any references to the Sapphire Sun in the Elven?
Yes.
Oh,
not in the Elven, but it's quite clear that the Sapphire Sun, this was built for something, perhaps maybe the Sapphire Sun, or the Sapphire Sun is being channeled through it. I'm not entirely
Effie,
sure.
you're the only one of us who's interacted with an Illuvian before, and you're also the only one of us capable of magic. Was there any arcane impression you picked up from the place?
Yes, so, upon entering the main chamber, it appeared, well, I don't remember what happened, but supposedly another voice spoke through me, in Elvish. It also spoke of recognizing me this time, and I believe it had something to do with, the first time interacting with the Illuvian. I was drawing some connection from that.
What makes you say that?
It spoke about recognizing me this time, and Iris was able to translate what it was I was saying, and it was essentially what was written on the walls.
For ours is the glory.
Effie, that's really worrying.
It was extremely worrying. Yeah.
Did it try and make a deal with you?
Mm-mm.
Are you
Nope.
nothing demony?
Mm-mm.
Apart from the possession, which is inherently demony.
Yeah, it's not us. It's not great. Obviously, there are examples of mages and spirits working together. However, even with that, there's a contract made, and this didn't involve one. This was not. I'm not certain what it was.
Effie, this doesn't sound like possession to me.
Okay. Well,
I don't know what it is, but speaking through you, it doesn't feel quite the same, especially if you were let go afterwards. After leaving the ruin, have you experienced a repeat of these events?
No.
It makes sense that it might have been trying to talk to the rest of us. Because she doesn't actually remember most of it.
okay.
And it was... I don't know. Elodie, the mage that was with us, she also thought it was possession.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I wouldn't know how to recognize such a thing, but why would it take hold of her, make her say these things, and then disappear without her knowing?
Well, as Effie says, there are ways for the denizens of the Fade to interact with the living that are not quite the same as possession. It bears some thinking about, but unless anyone has any reason to think that Effie is presently in danger, I don't think there's anything we should worry about for now, and I don't think there's any reason to trouble Inquisitor Sheree with it.
We've had the Illuvian in our possession. Has it ever tried to contact you?
Our own findings with the Illuvian have been disappointing. We've studied it. Well, Sabine has studied it. But there's, as you know, there's no frame to speak of, no markings upon it. We did take it out into the light of the Sapphire Sun. It did exactly as you described before. The glass took on a liquid quality, but we didn't hear or see anything unusual other than that.
Well, now you have this map where instructions, if someone can figure this out.
I'm very glad that you retrieved that. I'm sorry that there were Darkspawn down there and you put your lives in danger for it.
I do
But
think we need to to, I don't know, train or something, because they were not like anything we faced. They just kept coming. They didn't, I don't know, they didn't feel pain, and they were feral, and you can think that something like that is, oh, I can handle it, but when it's in your face and it smells like it does, and it...
Do you think they're coming from somewhere under the ruin? Do you think there's a, I don't know, some sort of breach?
There's lots of tunnels, and they've been filled with rubble, and we only investigated a small bit of it. There could be anything down there.
Perhaps I shall send word to the Grey Wardens. Advice helped. I'm sure they will take note of it and not take much action, but I would rather have said something than nothing.
I agree.
In the meantime, we have had word. A messenger arrived a few moments before I fetched you all. The Lord Seeker is but a few miles away. He has managed to raise a force. He has managed a couple of 100 mercenaries. It's not much, but it's more than none, and at least for the time being, there's no word that the Night Vigilant has come. I'm not sure what we'll be able to achieve, but we've been ordered to meet the Lord Seeker outside the gates of Castel Sagrat. So, Inquisitor Charest has said I should extend that invitation to all of you. I know that it's not Inquisition business, it's Seeker business, but I'm not sure there's much else for you to do but drive yourselves out of your minds waiting for news. I've also extended the invitation to Jaspar and Elodie, but perhaps understandably, they have declined. Or Elodie has declined, and Jaspar, of course, will not leave her.
Of course. It's understandable.
Apparently she would have been among them, had she not volunteered for the Inquisition.
A small mercy.
Perhaps. But she has to live with the ghosts of 400 of her friends. She will always be the one who lived. I don't think she's going to be well for quite some time, and I think that she needs to be allowed the chance to find a way to heal. And there's no healing for her by going back there. Not yet, anyway.
No.
So, pack up. We are likely to make camp. I don't think a force of 200 odd is going to impress the Knight Commander. And if it doesn't, it's going to be a long and rather pathetic siege. But we have to make a show of it.
That's the main thing. Showing them that there's resistance.
All right. Dismiss. We'll leave in the hour.
Tiernan.
Tiernan doesn't leave the room.
I feel like I'm having an out-of-body experience. We're going back. But not as Templars.
So what's going to happen to us?
What do you mean?
It's heresy to defy the Knight Commander.
It is heresy to defy the divine, which is what Commander Belfort has done. I can't speak to whether the two of you are attainted from the Templar Order or not. But as for whether or not you are apostates, heretics, I doubt very much if you qualify. And if there is the slightest chance that such a thing is even being considered, I can assure you that Inquisitor Sheree and I will appeal to the divine in person. I don't think it'll come to that. As far as I'm concerned, you are both children of the Maker in good standing.
Thank you.
Not that I have the authority to say such a thing. I am not a Chantry Mother. But you are not the criminals, and you are not the ones who have defied Andraste's Vicar on Earth. We all had our reservations about the edict proclaiming that annulment was no longer absolute. But I'm not going to... We all thought it, Arlen. But there is an infinite distance between having private reservations shared among friends and brutalizing hundreds of people just to prove a point.
After this is done, one way or another, what happens to us? We were Templars on secondment to the Inquisition. What are we now?
If there is still an Inquisition after these events have played out, if there are still seekers of truth after these events have played out, then that Inquisition will welcome you both as it always has done. Remember, we have a larger goal here. The Sapphire Stun still represents an unknown threat. We don't even know for sure that it's a threat. It's an unknown something.
And what if there isn't?
An Inquisition?
What if there isn't an Inquisition after this?
Then I don't know.
No one knows. Thora doesn't know. Effie doesn't know. Iris doesn't know.
They didn't sign up for a job for life, though.
Is Effie in the room?
Yeah, she probably wouldn't have left.
I think you'll find that Effie faces a similar dilemma.
Yes.
She just assumed the Inquisition fails, she dies. That's
Without the Inquisition, she's now a known mage. She will have to join a circle.
But that was always what would eventually happen. The
Perhaps.
Inquisition was never going to last forever, and we were going to return to the Templars.
Well, that doesn't seem very likely. But it's not for us to say what is impossible. And the Maker has shaped the world beyond our sight. I can't ask you to have faith in the Chantry or the Templar Order or your fellow mortals. But I do not believe that you two are meant to be outside of the Maker's light. Not for a second. Have faith in that.
Tin, and I told you we're going to find a new purpose. The Maker will show us.
With your permission, sir, I should pack.
Of course. You know, I meant that this whole thing is voluntary. If you prefer, you can go back to Val Marcia. No one will think the lesser of you. Any of you.
What is there for us in Val Marcia now? Sir.
There is still a town full of people who are reeling from a terrible series of events. And the sapphire sun still burns in the sky.
There are always going to be people that need help.
Look, I will gather my things and will be waiting you in an hour. And those who are there in an hour's time, I will walk with to our campsite outside Castel Segrat. Those who are not there, I will assume, have gone their own way, whether that takes them to Castel Segrat to uphold their duty to the Inquisition or otherwise.
Yes, sir.
All right. She leaves.
Tiernan leaves not long after.
Arlen's going to follow him, whether he wants it or not, but probably behind him.
Effie definitely already had her go bag ready.
Yeah, Tiernan's out there in like not long.
Yeah.
He doesn't have much to pack.
So is anyone going back to Val Marcia?
Yeah, I was thinking we should just all go and then
Yeah,
this
whole thing just feels kind of foolish.
I heard that there's just like hot spring somewhere nearby.
Yes, that
Yeah.
would be real nice.
I hear there are elf berries there, delivered by an ancient elven maiden.
I forgot about her.
Don't forget about her; she's the best one.
It's just Iris
the
in
same
a
laugh
wig.
every time for me. Like a guffaw. I can't control it.
You pack up and you head out. Other than Jaspar and Elodie, of course. By the way, the cell here is in swankier digs than you are in your somewhat out of town tavern. They're actually in an old treasury, so it's thick stone walls, elaborate layout. It's an old Chantry treasury, so it's owned by the Chantry, and the Inquisitions have been given it. So it's pretty huge. You could store a whole garrison of people here if you needed to. You go outside, and yeah, all of Inquisitor Charet's people are here. You know, you vaguely gotten to know them over the past couple of days. Of course, Tin and Arlen met them before, and you head out to Castel Segrat. Seems like we'll take a quick break before you convene with the Lord Seeker and learn what's been happening in Valoria.
I'm very wrong.
Oh dear.
So, after 15 minutes of completely appropriate out-of-character conversation, turn to the game, you traipse out of town to the now menacing and foreboding presence that is Castel Sagrat, with the Mage Tower that you don't seem to quite want to look at, because you know what's inside. Or not.
Oh.
Yeah. And you can see already that there are a few hundred people outside the main gates, and they are setting up a camp. You can see that a banner has been put up on a long pole with the eye of the Seekers of Truth upon it. The Eye of the Seekers of Truth is like a sort of a crown thing on top. It's the banner of the Lord Seeker. You're told to sort of go over there and set up. And a few minutes later, Inquisitor Sheree brings over the Lord Seeker, Maxillan Voss. He is he's built very much like a Templar. If there's a stereotype for some reason that the Seekers are all dwindled and scholarly, he does not occupy that stereotype. He's very much an athlete. I mean, he's in his early 50s, but he'd stand a good chance against any one of you. And he's not a mountain like Belfort, but he is certainly a warrior. But he has this gentle face. He's from the Anderfels, which you know the stereotypes about the Anderfels. They're so, devout and ecstatic in the light of the Maker. And he sort of appraises you. He is not wearing armor. He's sort of wearing a padded tunic, but he's very much dressed like a Seeker, all in black with the white eye emblazoned across his chest. These are Tiernan and Arlen, are they? It is a sad tale we find ourselves embroiled in, isn't it?
Quite so, sir.
Seeker Sheree has commended all of you to me for your conduct in the terrible business with the murder of clergy in Val Marcia. I'm very proud of you all for how you conducted yourself. No doubt the people of Val Marcia will also appreciate your calm in dealing with these events. I'm afraid they've been rather overshadowed by this disgusting display. To that end, I must further compliment you two, Tiernan and Arlen, for your bravery and enterprise. I respect that it cannot have been easy for you to have chosen a different side of this than the people that you have been friends with for the past few years. And I am only sorry that it did not work out, that you were able to prevent these events from taking place. I'm sorry if you are disappointed to see the rather diminished size of this force. It was all I could gather with the time and resources available to me. But I wanted to take a moment to tell you all that your work and your diligence and compassion have not gone unnoticed by the Seekers of Truth. and thus will not go unnoticed by her most perfect, the divine. Should I be fortunate enough to ever stand in her presence again. I'm afraid we are not equipped for a siege. I trust that Seeker de Malfa has told you that you are all entirely at your leave to disperse from this place, should you wish it. All of you, your service to the Inquisition has been exemplary, and I say this to all of you, not just the humans among us. Iris and Thora, your leader, Seeker de Malfa, has told me much of your great assistance during this matter, and indeed in the years preceding it, so you have my thanks. But there is no obligation for any of you to stay. When none of you respond to that, he nods as if he was expecting none of you to respond to that. And says, good. Aside from the brief excitement of setting up camp, I'm afraid there's not much else to wait for. I must now do what Seeker Sheree has done and pound my fists futilely against the great gates of Castel Sagrat until someone decides to answer. I am hoping that since I stand but a few feet from the throne of the divine, I will garner some merit of attention. But if Commander Belfort has descended truly into this treasonous madness that he has embarked upon, perhaps even the divine will not impress him as it should. Nevertheless, we shall wait. I have sent envoys, and we will see. I must attend to my captains. No doubt we shall speak again. He marches off, with Sheree in tow.
Oh, Maker.
Yeah.
Does anyone else kind of hate it when they say, you're free to leave, you should just leave, maybe you should go? I understand the sentiment, but maybe I'm just on edge.
You probably are.
I think we all are. I've never felt so in over my head.
I think they're trying to make it very clear they can't compel us to do anything.
Yes. And that it could all be pointless. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't change my decision.
I have nothing else to do. And, maybe even if I did, I would probably still be here.
I understand.
Sheree returns after a few minutes and says, well, it looks as though our letter never made it to the Lord Seeker.
What?
He's not here because we summoned him. He received a tip-off from an agent of his in the Templar Order. Which means that the Templar Order knows that this is happening. I'm sorry to say that the Night Vigilant may well be sending a force this way to reinforce Castel Sagrat. This is a calamity.
Then what needs to be done?
We hope that the Lord Seeker can persuade Commander Belfort to accept an audience and hope that Commander Belfort is unaware that he is likely about to be reinforced, because if he thinks he's about to be reinforced, he will be much more confident than we would like him to be. Other than that, I'm afraid we are simply here to make a show of force. The Lord Seeker will obviously petition the Duke as well. But the Duke will have his own scouts and patrols, will no doubt spot an approaching force of Templars long before we do. And that will not persuade him to turn against them, I'm afraid to say. But we're very glad to have you with us. Make camp and make yourselves as comfortable as you can. I'm afraid that we will likely be waiting for some time to hear back from Castle Sagrad.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Adriana, would you mind coming with me? Daily?
We're waiting.
You can see that there are Templars on the ramparts of the walls. You can see that they're patrolling. They can see everything you're doing.
If possible, Effie would be trying to make eye contact with every single one of them. Not aggressively, but just like locking eyes and being like, "Sup, fam? How you doing? You okay? You feeling all right?"
You may well be succeeding. You have no idea.
Well,
The whites of their eyes are quite some way away from you.
there's a kind expression on her face. That's her only goal.
Another couple of days passes.
Oh.
Wow.
I know
No.
we're not role playing it in character, but I just feel this weight of time on my soul.
Nothing seems to happen. You stay within your own group, really. You don't mix with the Orlesian mercenaries, which is fine. They didn't seem particularly interested in mixing with you.
Rude, we're great.
I know, right? We are pretty great.
I have a question. Tiernan and Arlen, do you wear your Templar surcoats?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's interesting.
Tiernan will be reading most of the time, but he's not taking it off.
Arlen has.
Why is that?
He just doesn't want to be associated with anything that happened. He's horrified. It was first the Chantry sisters and now the mages, and it's just too much for him to deal with.
Do you two ever talk about it? Does one of you notice that the other one isn't dressed the same? How important is this?
Like, Tiernan will definitely notice, but Tiernan really isn't the one to be starting conversations. But I'm open for conversations if anyone wants them. I've even got out my book.
I'm not trying to stir the pot. I just thought it was quite interesting that there's this difference. I think I understand both of their points of view on this. Why is Tiernan keeping his on?
Because he's a Templar. And he's not going to lie about that. Because they need to know that someone didn't do it.
Okay.
And, like, if they're watching from the battlements, like, they might not know it's him. Most of the Templars don't know who he is. But he kind of wants them to see that there is a Templar not in the fortress. But he doesn't do it in a sort of defiant way. He literally is just getting on in that kind of stubborn way that Tiernan gets on and doesn't explain himself ever.
I don't think that Arlen would bring it up either, because I think they know enough about each other that he would instinctively understand that Tiernan's point of view and that he doesn't necessarily have to change anything. It's just Arlen has to disassociate himself to deal with what has happened.
Yeah.
But, he's not going to make a big deal out of it. It's,
No. I didn't expect you'd argue about it or anything.
How dare.
Yeah, after that, a couple days passes. Tiernan and Arlen, you are summoned to the tent of the Lord Seeker for crucifixion.
Fuck! That escalated so quickly.
He's decided he's turned right against you. Thank you for attending so efficiently. I have been informed that Commander Belmont will accept an envoy from the Seekers of Truth. Ordinarily, it would be my inclination to go myself. I am the most senior Seeker here. However, Seeker Sheree has persuaded me that I am best utilized elsewhere, so I will be riding to persuade His Grace, the Duke of Montsemart, to lend us his forces. In the meantime, I have agreed to allow Seeker Sheree to act as our envoy on the condition that he is escorted. And since we have 2 Templars in our party, I was wondering if either of you felt like volunteering.
If we are needed, if I am needed, I will go.
It is voluntary. If neither of you are interested, I will find one of my mercenaries.
No.
Respectfully, Lord Seeker, I would volunteer to go. Gladly. Do you not think that our presence would anger the Knight Commander?
It is not for the Knight Commander to be angry with us. It is quite the other way around.
Of course, I'm not saying his anger would be justified.
The reason that I have come to the 2 of you first is because you are Templar squires. It would emphasize that not all of the Templar Order is on his side. But if you have reservations, I quite understand. I thought I would give you first refusal.
We'll do it, sir.
Yes. Yes, we will.
Good. Arlen, you're not in uniform.
No, but I can be.
Good. Go and prepare yourselves, and I'm afraid that we have agreed you will go in disarmed.
Oh, of course.
Wear the heaviest armor you can find, but no swords, please, gentlemen.
Of course, sir.
We do not wish to make them nervous, do we?
No.
Very well, Etienne, you have your goals are clear. I will gussy myself up to go and see this powdered duke. We shall meet again in a couple of hours. Good luck to the 3 of you.
And you, sir.
I don't expect either of us are about to have very productive meetings, but we must go through the form of it, no? Very well, if you'll excuse me, I must change into something a bit more opulent.
Oh.
Sheree says he'll meet you back here in half an hour or so you can go and tell the others and get ready.
Yeah.
Tiernan will go and retrieve Arlen's things so that he doesn't have to deliver news or make prolonged eye contact.
Oh, what was he? What did he want?
We have been requested to go inside Castle Sagrat as to have the audience with Belfort.
Is that safe?
Of course not.
Not likely. We're also to be unarmed
What?
and in uniform.
Isn't that they're going to charge you with something and detain you in there and you'll never come back out?
No, it's fine. We'll be with the Seeker. My biggest fear is that we might all just be killed on sight,
Yeah.
but that might not happen, and I'll do everything in my power to bring us back. Please try not to worry. I know.
Dora and Effie just
Yeah,
stared.
like, are you piss off with that?
Yes, I know. I just keep saying the same platitudes over and over, and I hate myself for it, but what else can we do? This is what is needed of us.
Just do your best and come back. Okay?
Yes. Just thank you two for being such good friends.
I think Effie might give Arlen a hug.
I think some group hug.
Yeah, yeah.
Awkward, different.
But it's
size
not even.
hug.
Yeah, it's not even like that hard because Arlen's so big and they're both quite small.
Yeah.
It's just.
He'll envelope them.
Oh.
Arlen, I have your uniform
Oh,
when
great.
you're done.
Yeah. Give me a hand with it.
So while they're busy, I think Thora will whisper to Effie, just be like, do you have some magic you can throw on them? Like, to keep them safe somehow?
You could pray to everything and everyone.
Your God would not listen to me.
So you pray to yours, I pray to mine. I'll also pray to yours. Maybe they're feeling magnanimous tonight.
You fucking tell.
Was some God up there. They surely cast me aside by now.
Well,
I will just sit here and worry against Arlen's wishes.
if the Maker and Andraste were going to protect anyone, it would be Tiernan and Arlen.
Oh.
Yes, but, anything. Blow on them or something. The thing.
She'll make like a little like gesture that no one else can see that means literally nothing, but hopefully makes Thora feel better. Yeah, magic fingers.
Wibbly wibbly woo.
That's
Shield
literally
of faith. Shield of faith. Off you
That's
go.
literally a plot point in the beginning area of Origins, where they're asking the Chantry Mother for magic amulets, and she's like, "That's not how the Maker works." I'm like, "Just pretend, send them pretend amulets." She's like, "I won't do that."
So you go over to see the charade.
Mm-hmm.
As I believe we are expected. Don't worry, they've promised us good conduct, and I don't think they are quite as stupid as to attack a Seeker.
Sir, the Lord Commander will not appreciate us being there, sir.
No, I am counting on it.
Should we just ignore it?
Just ignore the invitation to parley?
No, he has this way of talking to you like you're supposed to answer or you're not supposed to answer, and I can never tell which one he's doing.
You are not under his authority anymore. You are under the authority of the Chantry of Andraste, and the most senior member of the Chantry is the Lord Seeker, who has given you your orders. Is that not true?
I I don't know whether we're supposed to make him angry or not.
You are simply supposed to be there to be an imposing presence and to show that there are Templars on our side. You are not required to say anything. In fact, I think it is best that you do not.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
If he tries to bait you, just ignore him. He should be focusing on me.
I can do that, sir.
Harlan's inwardly like, oh, I hope I can shut up.
And Tiernan's like, hooray, I can shut up.
All right.
Oh, God, he's the worst.
Let us go.
Ooh.
You approach the main gate, and there are some mercenaries that follow, and they stay clear of the gate, maybe 20 yards or so away, weapons drawn. It's not the main gate that opens. There's a side door. There's a door inside the great gate. It's opened, and it stays open for you to clamber through. And with a breath, a quick prayer, you step into the courtyard. It's very strange to be here as enemies. You almost feel the numerous crossbows that are trained on you, like feathers barely gracing your skin. You can feel the eyes on you. And in the doorway of the keep is the towering figure of Commander Belfort. That's close enough. Say your piece, Seeker, and be on your way. Commander Belfort, I have not come here to start a fight with you. You have committed a crime against the Chantry, and you must answer for that. This is not an attempt to do battle against the Templar Order, but to bring the Maker's justice into this world. If you believe that your actions were justifiable, then you will allow me to arrest you and take you before the throne of the Divine. You and all of your captains. And if you do this, then if you and your captains promise good conduct and return with us to Val Royeaux to stand trial in front of a tribunal of Chantry Mothers, then all of those knight brothers and sisters and squires who took part in the annulment, they won't be pardoned, but nor will they face capital punishment. And the Templar Order shall retain all of its authority. Commander Belfort, these terms are not negotiable. Not negotiable. I didn't invite you here to arrest me. You fucking mouse of a man. I summoned you here to tell you it's not going to work. We are the sword of the Maker. You are an antique from a chantry that history has almost forgotten. Seekers of truth. The seekers of truth are dead and walking around on this earth pretending they're not. And as for your so-called divine, your divine is a Ferelden bitch. She is no speaker for Andraste. She is illegitimate and blasphemous. And I promise you this. Her blasphemy will be heard on the ears of the faithful. From west to east, from Denerim to Andoral's Reach, and the cries of the people will go up, and they will march on Val Royeaux and tear the whore from her throne. You tell your Lord Seeker that. Tell all you meet that. We are the sword of the Maker, and we will not be sheathed, not by you, and not by some false prophet. Or you can stay, and we'll heap your body onto the mound back there. And with that, Commander Belfort turns and walks into the keep. The door slams. Shura hangs his head. Damn. Now, I want to know which of you it is. Tiernan and Arlen, I want to know which of you it is that does what happens next. So I'm going to ask you both, please, to make me willpower discipline checks.
Okay.
Uh, 14 with a 5.
You're muted.
I get that, I understand. 16 with a 3.
Then it's Arlen, who looks up at one of the crossbowmen and snarls. Nothing happens. You begin your walk, and by the Maker, that walk, you've come 20 yards in. It's the longest 20 yards you have ever walked and ever will walk for the rest of your lives. You hear a shout from above. You think it's traitor. And then Shura pushes Arlen. And you hear a sick thunk. A crossbow bolt appears in Shura's abdomen.
No.
If Effie were here, she would know. Just by looking. The head of the bolt has gone into his lung. He's already coughing up blood. A second later, he doesn't have that many words left in him.
No.
But he tells you to run. Go before they close the door.
No. Tina, we can carry him.
How far away are we from the door?
Oh, you're not that far. But there are quite a lot more crossbows. And they are closing the door.
Shit.
Tiernan grabs Arlen's wrist and runs.
You make it out, but you can hear the gentle, dry dabs of crossbow bolts landing inches from your ankles.
Keep running.
The door slams shut. You run into the group of waiting mercenaries. They cover you as you withdraw back to the camp. You hear shouts from inside the fort. Shouts to stand down. But that won't help Sheree, will it?
When will it stop?
You must report back to the Lord Seeker.
Yeah. Yes, okay. All right.
Tiernan goes to the Lord Seeker.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord Seeker isn't back yet.
Tiernan goes to whoever is next in charge of the Lord Seeker's business.
That would be Adriana de Malfa.
Oh no.
Tiernan, Arlen. Where is Etienne?
He was...
Malfa, I regretfully inform you that
No.
Seeker Sheree has been killed.
No.
I'm so sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. See, it happened so fast.
I'll make it take him to your side. Andraste, embrace him. And guide him through the shadows we have made. Oh. Damn. Are you too hurt?
No.
No, Seeker.
Good. For just his mercy. God, what are we going to do?
Commander Belfort has declared an uprising against the Divine.
The man's gone mad.
He proclaims that the true faithful will march on Val Royeaux. He did not order the death of Inquisitor Sheree. I think he does not have full control over them. He just unleashes their violence.
I think you underestimate Commander Belfort if you don't think that he has full control of them.
I am not saying that he does not have control. just that he doesn't care who they hurt.
You will not repeat any of these blasphemous things to anyone else, do you understand me?
Of course not, Seeker. I can complete a full report before I expunge it from my memory. I remember everything he said.
Then get it on paper and seal it, and I'll present it to the Lord Seeker, but don't... Make a damn him. He's always... All right, dismissed.
With your permission, Inquisitor. There are not many good writing surfaces in this camp. Might I make use of the Lord Seeker's desk before he returns?
I am certain that he will not mind.
Thank you.
I will ride to meet him. It's not fair for you to have to report these tidings to him yourself. Besides which, he and Etienne are friends. I don't think he'll want to hear it from, forgive me, strangers.
Oh, of course.
I'll get to work, Seeker.
I'm so sorry. So sorry that I went so terribly. She finds a horse and rides towards the town.
Tiernan is going to sit at that desk and he is going to write verbatim everything Commander Belforce said.
Okay.
And everything that Sheree said, because they're the last things he said.
Arlen's just going to sit in like a coma because in his head he killed Sheree.
Arlen, you should go to the others and let them know we're back. And you should get dressed.
Yeah.
And you should tell Effie to make you some tea.
I don't want any tea.
No, but you need something hot. Or you're going to go into shock.
No, I'm fine.
No, you're not.
I just want to stay here.
I know you do, but I need to focus.
I can't. I've been quiet.
Arlen, I need to focus. Go and sit with the others.
You don't want me to be here.
I'd very much like to focus.
All right, T. I'll see you later.
I'll see you soon. Go to the others. Don't go off on your own.
Yeah. He'll wander vaguely off in the direction of the others. But very slowly. And he thinks about wandering off on his own.
I would think, too, that Thor and Effie would have heard that they were back.
They'd have
And
probably...
so they're likely looking for them already, and so they probably find Arlen sort of... and just kind of bundle him up and whisk him away. And plunk him down in front of a fire.
There is some blood on his tabard.
Effie will just take it off and fold it up and set it aside and wrap him in a blanket. And then she's gonna, brush his hair out of his face and go get him some tea. And it's like the most mommy thing I can think of, but it's just like 100% just like would never even consider asking him what happened, because that's just, I mean, 2 came back. Like, it's, I'm sure by this point
Yeah.
so she would never begin to bring it up to him or even have him talk, and she'd probably shush him if he opened his mouth and just like stroke the head and give him some tea and wrap him tighter in the blanket.
Then Thora does the exact opposite. She will just sit near him and just be there. She's not gonna try to like do anything or say anything. She's just gonna like sit there. Maybe if there's a fire, like poke it a little. But yeah.
He just kind of lets things happen to him. And yeah, if they don't ask, then he's probably not going to. No, he would. Did you hear the news?
We did.
Yes.
Okay, then I don't need to say it out loud. The bolt, it was meant for me. It should have been for me.
You can't know that.
No, I know that. It was... I killed him, essentially. Or he saved my life either way. I'm not the one that should have walked out of there. He was a good man.
So are you. You didn't deserve to die. I won't deny that. I won't say that his death was not a loss. But we all choose to make sacrifices every day. I mean, you've built your life on sacrifice. And you would die for one of us just as he died for you, and that is part of it. Does not make your life less deserving. It does not make his loss less painful.
Why do I always feel as though people die around me and I am left standing? And it just mounts up and I can't make it better. This is too big for me. How are we supposed to fix this now? You didn't hear Belfort. He's insane. There's going to be a war.
We must think of this like an illness. An illness is there whether you can see it or not. But once the symptoms present, you can treat it. You can heal it. We can heal the Templars.
You didn't see, Effie. They didn't care.
Aren't you the one who told me and showed me, you and Tiernan both? The actions of a few Templars do not define the Order. You exemplify what makes Templars great just as they exemplify what makes them awful. Their actions don't damn them. The Order can be saved. And if an apostate mage believes that, then it must mean something, right?
You're not just some apostate mage, Effie. I just can't help but feel like we're just droplets in an ocean that's going to overwhelm us. I just can't stop seeing Sheree's face. The bolt just went straight through him. I'm sorry. I just need to be.
Can I say something?
Always.
I can't say I've been where you are exactly, but the last time that things got this hard for me, I was staring at a dead body. And I ran. I left. I didn't try to fix anything. I just let the rot happen. I don't know what happened to anybody that I left behind, but here today, you came back. You didn't just run. And I think that makes you very strong. And I know it must seem very dark right now, but you came back, and you're here, and you're hurting, and you're still trying to figure it out. And I don't know if that's any comfort, but I don't know, you're very strong. Maybe there was no point to it.
That is... I don't know much about your past, but I've been where you were. I watched my younger brother be killed in front of me. That's why I left Cokewall. I did much the same as you. I couldn't handle it. I cut and I run. I don't know what happened, but we're both here now. And you are right. We can't give up. While there is something to be done, even if it's just a show. I can't imagine anything that could be more important than this. And now we must make sure that Sheree didn't die in vain either. You're so right, and I'm so sorry.
You need to stop saying those words. We should just have a look for it, all of us. Just one certain look that just says, I'm sorry, without having to say it.
Yeah, that's the one right there. That's
there it is.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You hear urgent hoofbeats surging towards camp.
Arlen will get up and go.
You see Adriana and Lord Voss arriving in somewhat more of a rush than he left. You can tell he's received some very bad news. And he looks devastated. And he goes straight over to you. And sort of Adriana will sort of wave Tiernan over as well.
Tiernan's kind of lurking at the tent.
Yeah. Seeker de Malafert told me what became of Seeker Sheree. But she told me that the two of you were not hurt, which is a mercy.
It happened very quickly, Lord Seeker.
Tell me how.
There were crossbowmen on the walls. They watched us enter. When Commander Belfort was done with us, I think one of them took a shot. And they all opened fire.
But neither of you were hit.
Seeker Sheree told us to run.
I don't think that they meant to hit Sheree initially. His last action was to push me out of the way. he was a good man till the end. The best of men.
I have no doubt at all that had I gone in his place, they most certainly would have aimed for me, so you are not the only one whose life he saved today. I'm afraid that I'm about to tell you something terrible. But before I do, Etienne Chiret was my friend. And I think you should know why he allowed himself to be killed in your place. You see, I have spoken to him over the past few days about your actions since you joined the Inquisition, both of you. Etienne Chiret was a devout man, servant of the Maker through and through. And in spite of these recent events, he and I, who share so many of our core beliefs, shared one in particular. We believe in the Templar Order, not as it is now, but we believe that it must exist to protect the children of the Maker, all of the children of the Maker, whether they are mages or not. Etienne Chiret told me he believed that the two of you were the future of the Templar Order. He was willing to die to preserve that future. I believe that with all of my heart. It's true that there are not so many seekers. Not as many as there should be, not as many as there once were. We are a dying breed. But I'd like to believe that in Chiret's mind, a good Templar is a far rarer thing and far more worth preserving. And to a hero of the Chantry, I do not believe he would have given it half a second's thought. It's cold comfort since he is now lost to us. But he will go speedily into the arms of the Maker. And I'm afraid that among the many hundreds of tests that the Maker has seen fit to burden us with, there is one that we must face now. I did not make it to the Duke. I was intercepted by one of my mercenary scouts. They have seen the standard of the Night Vigilant. They have seen the standard of the Night Vigilant at the head of an army 2,000 strong.
No.
I'm afraid our time has run out. But I have discussed it with Seeker Amalfa. She and I are staying.
No.
Commander Belfort has committed a terrible crime. And if we allow the two Templar forces to be joined, then... well, you both know what it was that Commander Belfort said. Adrian and I are staying, and my mercenaries will stay as well. The time might have come for you to leave.
But, sir, what?
I won't order you to go. But I cannot in good conscience order you to stay either. You have stayed with us longer than is reasonable, perhaps.
But the time has come for you to think very carefully. I must prepare my men. Hadrona, see to your people as well. Look, I know you're thinking you'd like to stay. And if you insist on seeing this thing through, I won't tell you not to. But there are 2,000 of them out there and another 1,000 inside the walls.
Seeker.
Then there can be no victory, Seeker.
Seeker, it's going to be a massacre. You should... The world can't lose you as well.
This is not a battle for my survival, Alan. This is a battle for the survival of the Chantry of Light.
And the Chantry will need people like you.
And the Lord Seeker.
And the Lord Seeker.
The political situation alone, without him, is untenable.
Please.
Seeker,
I have said these things. The Lord Seeker is staying to uphold his duty. And I will not abandon him.
But
what about your duty to us?
The Inquisition has to continue without me, then so be it.
Seeker,
Between the 5 of you, you can find someone to lead you.
no, you must. There must be something you can do to convince him to see sense. This is. It took one bolt to kill Sheree. One bolt. There are thousands of them.
We need you, Seeker.
Come with us. We can get support from elsewhere.
I appreciate the sentiment. It has been a privilege to serve with you. But I'm staying.
The Maker be with you then.
Yes.
You actually see her sort of take a step back like you've punched her in the face. I see. Yes, of course. Then go well.
Go.
Is this not the usual meaning of Maker be with you?
Maker be with us all, Seeker.
Well, if you're going to return to Val Marcia, you're going to want to leave as soon as possible.
I don't think I was very clear, Seeker. I'm not going to Val Marcia.
Well, then wherever it is you end up.
I'm right-handed, so I'm defensive on my left. So I would put a centre-left column. There are 200 mercenaries divided into mobile units. I'm probably best staying with you and the Lord Seeker.
I may not be good with a weapon, but I can lend support.
I did not make the decision to try to save Monsamad lightly. This is my battle, and if you stay, I stay. I would follow you to the end, Seeker.
You honor me. Then we have work to do. It will be a day or so before their scouts are upon us, and a couple of days more before their main force is upon us. I believe the Lord Seeker has designs around digging this and that. Let's get to work.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
That's okay.
At least she didn't scare us this time.
No, she didn't scare me. I don't know what I said that possibly set her off. And you set about the work, putting stakes into the ground and digging trenches. It's not much, and you can't magically make 200 people into 2,000. But you put that number, all those numbers, out of your head and carry on with the work.
Numbers
And
are the
we
worst
see-
anyway.
Far away from these happenings, the grim expression of Pierre Nivelle, commander of the Order of Templars. To be continued.
I'm so mad.
Can I just say, the sheer rage being emanated from Janara has been just keeping me going this entire time.
I hate them so much, and I could not agree more if I tried.
You know, I my eyebrow muscles hurt from all the frowning I've been doing.
Tiernan is one of those characters that afterwards I always feel a kind of very slight pressure headache here just from the amount of times I do this.
Also, my jaw. I gritted my jaw a lot.
I think I nearly ruptured something trying not to cry this episode. Because Tiernan doesn't cry anywhere near as much as I do, and it's very difficult.
That was...
I'm so mad.
It's very important. Did I ever get all of you weeping at once? Because if I did, I get £50 worth of Mars bars. I believe is how I understand.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to watch
I'm
the
like
pod,
almost.
but I'm
I
pretty
am-
sure.
No, you definitely did, because it was the moment that I finally lost a tear, and I thought, oh, are we all crying? And we were.
Does it count? Does it count though if Ash isn't here as well? I mean, do I have to get all 5 of you?
I mean, Ash, you didn't tell her to leave. You didn't send her away so you could win a bet.
What we'll do is we'll ask Ash very honestly if, when watching the VOD, she cried, and then we'll go, I want my 50 quid's worth of Mars bars. I don't even like Mars bars all that much. Why is it Mars bars?
I don't know. I just assumed you loved them.
It's far more likely to be Haribo cola bottles or something. I don't know, gummy bears.
Strawberry laces.
£50 worth of Haribo is a lot.
I will be mostly gelatin and I will die. It'll be a way to go.
I'm so mad. I don't know what to do with myself.
No.
I feel so... I don't know. I have this weird...
I got so emotional. We didn't even know Sheree that well.
I know, but it... Oh, fuck. It got me. Oh.
Got me
I think
right.
that's why, like, a complete stranger did that and had that much faith just by your actions alone.
I could have been... It was going to happen. It was going to be either of us as well. That
The thing is, I'm sorry, but my willpower is quite high, and I have a discipline specialty.
I figured.
Oh no!
I-
As soon as
we
it was
were
rolled
rolling
discipline, I was like, "Well, sucks for Arlen."
I know. I only have 1 willpower. I'm lucky I did as well as I
No.
did.
I mean, the thing is, you guys weren't the ones who failed your discipline check. It was the crossbowman who failed his discipline check. You know, it was that they were always going to be provoked by something, and one of you looking at him the wrong way.
Oh, my stupid face.
I'm so mad. So mad. And then Adrian, thinking we were leaving, I realise now "may could be with you" is kind of a goodbye, but I was trying to be like,
Yeah.
what would Andraste do?
No, I've been reasonably confident this whole time you would stay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I realised as soon as it came out of my mouth, it didn't sound as I'd intended it to sound.
No, I would have.
That's good. It added ambiguity to the scene.
I wouldn't have believed you if you'd said you were all actually going back. I thought, no, they won't go back. They wouldn't abandon Adriana.
No, although we were trying to convince, Arlen was trying to convince Adriana to leave. Like they weren't going to leave her; they wanted her to come with them.
But
We love being safe.
Yeah.
Since writing to Adriana Fix and Poppy doing gorgeous Adriana art, I thought that would tug at your heartstrings enough to at least die alongside her.
Oh yeah, if we must die, it would
Basically, that was your way of getting us to stay. Like, if it'd been like the Lord Seeker and Adriana was going to escort us out, would have been like, no, Lord Seeker, no, we liked you.
This decision has been in your future since about April, so maybe I've been stacking the deck a little bit.
We love her.
We do love her
So much.
So raw right now. That was such an intense episode. I think like I spent a lot of it just being silently grim, but
Yeah.
I have like 4 different highlighted bits of the Chant of Light that are all relevant, and it's very important that while I was doing Middle Distance as Tin and I was reading them, because like we're doing a Chant of Light. We're fighting in the field outside of a besieged castle.
it's true. Yeah.
Also, it's a moment where the pedant in Tiernan, like I love that even when I was really, really angry at the night commander, the night captain, night commander,
Belfort.
yeah. When he was yelling about we're the sword of the Maker, I was like, actually, the Templars are representative of Archon Hisari, whose sword slew Andraste while she burned before the city of Minrathous. The Maker had very little to do. No? Okay.
It's probably a good thing you didn't bring that out.
Well, actually, it's very important because the Templars are the swords of mercy.
Yeah.
They're not the swords of authority. They are the swords of...
I think it's fairly safe to say that Belfort would have said that was the that thinking is the remnant of a chantry that is dead.
He's the
knobhead
chantry.
Yeah,
A knob.
He is a knobhead, that is true. I
Knob
hope I
chantry.
represented him successfully as a knobhead, if nothing else.
He's the knob bander.
Oh, I couldn't have I was seething on the inside when he how dare he insult the divine like
Like
that.
the first time he scared me, but this time I was just so righteously angry and furious. Like, how dare you say these things about her and about like, no, who the hell? Like, it made me so mad that it didn't even scare me. I was just like, oh, you want to get fucking, you can't say, I'm gonna fucking murder you.
Yeah, genuinely, the first interaction we had with him, we were really kind of scared and unsettled because he's really scary and unsettling. And this time it was kind of one of those,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think fucking the not.
Well, now you are on the front line of the war for Thaddeus' soul.
Yeah, we're fucked though.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you are
just a little
boned.
hopeless. So
So all this time you've been talking about future seasons of this
I know,
game. Nope.
Well, I'm not going to put too much mustard on it, but why do you think I've been introducing secondary characters?
No.
How dare?
Oh,
I'm
so
playing-
Izzy, I know you play this sad Templar boy. How'd you like to play an even sadder mage girl? Oh, lovely. Oh, I get to play my backup character. She's all perky and excited, and oh no,
She's
the
now
master's dead. Okie
devastated.
dokie.
Well, there is absolutely a way this season ends with your deaths.
I don't like it.
that is there. But
I'd vote for not death.
Same.
If there's only one death in the pot, I'll take the death.
No,
No.
you don't get to die. That's such a Tiernan thing to do.
Yeah, you don't get to be like, I mean, if someone's gonna die, I'd like it to be me.
I don't want it to be left. It's a waste of death.
I'll close off my part of this. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching.
Oh God.
Especially if you've been with us from previous episodes. If you haven't been with us from previous episodes, I guess you don't know an awful lot of what's happening.
Welcome.
Welcome. But, don't start here. That's terrible. That's a really bad idea.
We had some funny stuff earlier. Like
earlier on there was some proper larks. There was a heist. Like episode 1, there was a heist.
The funny stuff is just pandering. Only misery from this point on.
Fan service for when I didn't just went fans. Now there are hopefully fans, but we're gonna reconvene in 2 weeks' time for the Siege of Montemard Part de Deux, where we will learn how our gang is going to get out of the horrible Templar sandwich they find themselves in. Oh, it's not a Templar sandwich. A sandwich is the thing that's in between. Okay, they are the sandwich in between Templar bread, and we're going to find out how they like being their filling and if they want extra olives on that.
Olives.
Nobody wants olives on it.
Emotional
I love olives.
No, you're both lying.
The only Templar sandwich I want is never mind.
I was gonna say it, and you said it, so it's fine. Everyone knows what we mean.
I need an adult.
Hey, get out.
The dwarf lady is saying inappropriate things. I feel uncomfortable. I'd like to speak to HR, please. What do you mean? What do you mean? Sheree was HR?
No! Don't make that
Too soon.
My hair won't stay out of the way.
Very well. If Sable is done, hi guys.
Hey,
this has been the Hit You Trash Crew Fun Time Joy Hour.
Has it?
I mean, I say that it was fun. This has been fun in a kind of really cathartic way.
I love doing sad acting. It's great.
I feel awful. At least we had like some really cool character moments and.
God, I loved the moment where I looked in the chat when something really tense was happening, and just Pretty's just like, I'm really tense, and I was like, I'm tense too. I don't know anything, but I'm so tense. My back really hurts from being. This has been. The first of a 3-part finale of the first season of Dragon Age RPG Under the Sapphire Sun, which has been pretty darn exciting. I'm really excited, and I'm not watching it. I'm just reading the Chant of Light and crying. So I can't imagine how exciting it is for the rest of you. As Sable said, this game, as it is fortnightly, will be reconvening on the 13th of November, which is Tuesday. I think, again, at the usual time, the time it was today, 9 p.m. GMT, because we're currently finagling with... No.
It'll be back to normal.
Is it back to normal?
We and North America are out of sync for literally 1 week.
It's 1 week, okay. So back at 9:30 or 6:30, I think, next week. Next session, which will be Tuesday the 13th of November. However, if you haven't had enough of this face and you fancy some space-themed adventures, then next Tuesday the 6th, will be the latest episode of Star Trek Iskander, which is not involving any of the people you see on screen, just me and the rest of the crew of the Iskander, GM'd by our beloved captain, Kath Stenton. The Cutting Edge, we will be facing raiders and Cardassians who are very handsome, and roguish pirates who are very handsome. And basically, Kath has designed a whole bunch of NPCs I can't romance because I'm playing a Vulcan, which is just the worst torture, really. It's as villainous as Sable's GMing today. Just if you have enjoyed this show, or any of our previous shows that are all available in the videos, or if you just like the cut of our jib, then how can you throw us money for this, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you. Over on patreon.com I haven't done that bit for a while, leave me alone. patreon.com/itucrew. You can subscribe to us. Is it subscribe on Patreon? I think so.
I think so.
And There are various tiers, and it's all very exciting. And you should go do it. I'm now going to stop and list off the people on this list. So please throw your trash bags, purple hearts, or any relevant favorite emojis into the chat for Amy C, Araloki, Bun Bun of Bun Bun Gaming, Caffeine Kitty, Christopher Galland, Harry Prestige, Hobbs 138, James Malloy of Protein City Comics, Louise Sutcliffe. Oh, babe, hi. I know Louise, she's nice. They are nice even, Izzy. Sort your life out. Michael Bowman, Mike Fielding, Mike Kilburn, the three Mikes that have formed the core, the Triforce of Mikes, if you will, that are the backbone of trash Mikery, Red Fox, Socky, and of course, everyone's most distinctively named Helena Handbasket.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Helena Handbasket, this is a segue in my brain, but not to anyone else who don't know who Helena Handbasket is. He and I talk often about National Novel Writing Month, which is a time in November when everyone who is a writer or aspires to be a writer or has a writing project that they want to do and haven't gotten around to yet, collectively loses their minds and decides they're going to write 50,000 words over the space of a month. It is a wild time when all of your friends who write will become vampires and stop talking to you and hide away in a ditch and basically become just the worst people to know. So, Pretty Ideal and I are taking part in National Novel Writing Month. Pretty Ideal is doing a normal human thing and writing a novel in the comfort of her own home over a month. I think I haven't misrepresented that.
That's accurate. Yeah.
Whereas I, who hate myself, have decided that rather than doing what I usually do, which is attempt to write for one of my larger writing projects and hash out 50,000 words and very rarely finish what I was doing, this year I'm going to do something very different. And so this year I am going to be taking that 50,000 words and instead writing from scratch a Dungeons and Dragons pre-generated adventure. Which I don't use a lot of pre-gen adventures, although for a personal game that I do not on stream with various members of the Trash Crew, I have read through some pre-gen adventures and borrowed bits. And Dungeons and Dragons, if you know me, is not my most favourite game ever, but I have played quite a lot of it. So I've decided to challenge myself this year by doing that, really, and writing a proper high fantasy, very D&D style adventure. The rub of this being that I am going to be streaming myself doing this, which will be over on my own channel at Praxis Descends. I won't be streaming all of it. Obviously, I'll have to, I won't be able to just only write when I can make it onto camera, because then I'd never get anything done. But if you follow me on Twitter or follow me on Twitch, then you should get notifications of when that's happening. And when I am done, when I've finished it and edited it and it exists in whatever format I decided is finished, it is going to be available on our Patreon for any backers of any level just to be able to download it, because I figured that was the fairest way of just putting it up somewhere where a website happens to exist. So although it is not a trash project, I am trash and I am doing it.
Woo!
That's all the news. That's all the news. I feel very emotional. I'm in a duvet. I'm going to live here for a bit. So we have been the You Trash Crew. This has been Dragon Age Under the Sapphire Sun. You have been our beloved Trash fam. And I think I speak for everyone when I say, yeah.
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 Cut that out.
Finger guns.